Hey guys, Alex from Seventh Films back again with My Hero Academia. Last time around we had Dabi's Dance. So let's see. The big thing, let's just get it out of the way. The big thing is that Dabi is actually Toya Todoroki, the lost son of Endeavor. And he's come back to get his vengeance on his terrible father. And he said all these things and is like, oh, here's how horrible Endeavor is. Also, Hawks is terrible. He killed Best Jeanist. But then Best Jeanist showed up at the end, which was great. And yeah, Best Jeanist is back and he's ready to kick some ass. So yeah. And do we really need anything more than that? Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of My Hero Academia. Here we go. Oh, that was like the best episode of the season. Jiminy. I got my boys back. My boys. I got Bakugo got a name, which is awesome. And I got Eri. Oh, I can't deal with this, man. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want the hype. I want the hype of it all, you know? That's the thing, man. You get some episodes and it's like, man, this ain't hype. It's just sad. And then you get stuff like this and it's like, all right, this is what I'm here for. This is why I came to a shonen anime. It's for the hype, you know? Jiminy. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, I think this might have been the loudest I've ever yelled during a reaction. Like, let's be honest. I would like to apologize. They're not going to watch this video, I know, but I'd like to apologize to anyone else who's in the house. So, actually, speaking of, when I was recording, not last week, but in a previous episode, while I was recording, we had somebody over repairing our washing machine. And so, I was sitting in here, I was getting hyped. That was a hype episode. I don't remember what episode it was, but that was a hype episode. And so it's just like, man, I hope these people that are fixing our washing machine don't think I'm insane, just sitting in my room yelling at nothing. My God, like, I was not expecting that, you know? I love that because man, I feel like we're jumping progress, despite the fact that we shouldn't have needed to, you know? Like, you know, last we had, a progress check for Deku. It was like, well, he can use 20%. He can get up to 20%, and, you know, Air Force he can do 20%. But other than that, he generally sticks to 8% to feel comfortable. He's at like 45 now. It's alright. He's at 45 now. He has 2 quirks. He has 2 extra quirks. And he's still using the 100% on top of it, you know? And yeah, it's like, you know, where last we saw Eri, and I guess this is really just down to the fact that we haven't seen them for a little bit, you know? So it's like, where last we left with Eri was like, you know, I don't even know what her training was. We never saw any of her training. You know, we would just see, like, a couple things where it's like, oh, her horn is getting bigger again, you know? And they have to, you know, they're like, comforting her and everything, you know? It's like, oh, it's going to be okay, you know? Suddenly, she's been training this whole time and used Rewind on Mirio. It was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's a great reveal, you know? That's a great reveal that Mirio is suddenly back and he has his quirk, you know? But, and you know, it's an interesting thing because I've done, not necessarily recently, but during season 5 or so, or it's around there, I don't know when, but I did do a rewatch of My Hero Academia with my brother, and one of his kind of complaints was that there's not a lot of the school, you know? And when you really stop and think about it, it's true. But there is a lot with, you know, the internships and the provisional license exam and what else am I thinking? Oh, the work studies and stuff like that. So there is it's still academia. It's just, yeah, in the field a lot of time. And to be fair, most of season 3 was they were technically on summer vacation, But that is honestly, that kind of works into this thing with Eri, that it's like, Eri got good. Eri got good with her quirk, and she was able to rewind Mirio and give him his quirk back, and it's like, oh, alright then. And that also means, I feel like, that, well, I mean, her power, she is getting very specific, too. It's not just a general rewind, but, well, I don't know. I mean, because I guess she can rewind a person, but it seems that they don't lose their memories, because Overhaul didn't lose his memories when she rewound him out of the one guy, when they were fused and she rewound them so they were apart. It's not like he lost his memories, but she has such control to bring back Mirio's quirk without Mirio losing, like, I don't know, I guess because it's not a temporal thing, It's not about time, per se. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. Look, what matters is it worked, It worked. We got Best Jeanist coming in with, incredible hype. Then we got Mirio coming in, and I was even more hyped. And then we got Eri, and that's just a treat, That's just a treat to see Lil Eri, It's like I've basically started a list because, and hear me out, because I have to explain this. Because as anime fans, as weebs, we have our waifus, right? And there's also husbandos as well. There's no word for child we wish was our child. And I think that needs to be a thing. And I've started writing a list of kids in anime that, there's nothing, it's purely platonic, but you want to protect them with your life as if you were Mr. Aizawa. So, the list I have so far, and please feel free to add on to this list in the comments. It'll also, because if you add on to the list in the comments, that'll probably make me want to go watch those anime. So, I have Eri from My Hero Academia, Anya Forger from Spy Family, Nezuko from Demon Slayer, because I've started that recently, and Nanali from Code Geass, definitely. Anyone else? And I know Nanali is kind of the outlier of the four of them because she's older, but Nanali, I feel like Nanali definitely fits into that, So yeah. But yeah, let me know if you have any more in the comments. But that's definitely the roster right now. I guess you could also put Koda from season 3 of My Hero, but I mean, who cares about Koda? No, I'm kidding. I mean, I liked Koda, but I didn't get that sense from Koda. Yeah. I guess you could put Kid Midoriya. Whenever they flash back to Midoriya as a kid, yeah, you can put him on the list. I don't know. We could put Koda on the list too, I guess, Nah, we could put Koda on the list, but definitely the others. I mean, let's all face the facts that, we all saw Koda and we were like, alright, this is a good kid, good story. But then we all saw Eri, and we all our hearts just exploded. And every time she shows up, it just happens again. How many hearts can we go through, Jeanist immediately, he's going too far, but I love it. But I love the idea that Jeanist and Makia are evenly matched. That's so great. I love Jeanist so much. Again, I feel like he was supposed to be like, just sort of a throwaway thing, because it's like, oh, we have, the top heroes. We've got, All Might. We have Endeavor, the flame hero. And we have, Best Jeanist, the best dressed hero of them all. And I feel like early on that was just like a throwaway joke. It's like, oh, Best Jeanist. And it was like, who's the guy Best Jeanist? How is he one of the greatest heroes, you know? And then at a point, the author was like, oh, I guess I should have the number, the top 10 heroes. And then he thought, what do I do with Best Jeanist? And then he figured it out, He figured it out and did make him one of the best heroes, Even though his quirk is literally that he can control fabric. That's it. That's his whole quirk, but he's that good. And I love, in season 3, when All For One acknowledges, it's like, oh, I see why you're the number 3 hero. It's because of how skilled you are. And he acknowledges there's no point in taking his quirk because it's just not going to do the same thing for him, It'd be the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with Mirio, where it's like, you look at Mirio and it's like, well, that's an incredibly powerful quirk. But then you get the backstory and it's like, this is a hard thing to master. He's mastered it, but it wouldn't help All For One to take that quirk, Or Shigaraki at this point, Like, that quirk would not be any use to them because they would have to, work with it so much, Which kind of makes you think, if Shigaraki's having this much trouble with his own quirks right now, how would he ever use One For All, Because One For All would just amplify the power of the other quirks that he has. He'd be dead. He didn't think that through, did he? Yeah, no, he didn't think that through. Well then. Although, maybe they were thinking that, well, maybe the thought was, if if he got through 100%, if he had stayed in that last month, he would have been ready, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, Jeanist. He is the best Jeanist. Oh my gosh. What am I going to do for the freaking thumbnail of this video? Because I'm clearly going to want to have Jeanist, Mirio, and Eri all in the same thing. It's hard to put 3 characters into a thumbnail for me, but I'm going to try. And yeah, he just got his quirk. This is great. It's great. And they were all there too! So it's not even really a surprise to them, it's just a surprise to the audience. They just didn't tell us, Oh, I love it though. That's so great. Where was he, though? That begs the question. It's like, well, where was he this whole time, this whole battle, Unless it was just, it took a while for that to work. I don't know. And I love that Eri is like, no, it's fine. This is why I've been training, And I can't take it. I can't take this, Bakugo has a name. That's great. Finally, after, what is this, episode 125 or something? He finally has a name. Okay, so it was, what was it? It was like Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. How about we just shorten that to Dynamite? Which, duh, of course, I love that. But, I mean, Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. It's at least something. It wasn't just Great Explosion Murder God. He added in the Dynamite, So, but I like that he's still, he still kind of has this, slight problem. But he's improving, He is improving, but yeah. Oh, Ida's doing something. Thank God Ida is doing something. He's kicking, finally. He's finally kicking. Meanwhile, Midoriya has Frappy style, which is Black Whip coming out of his mouth, which is hilarious. So he's using Black Whip from his mouth to move around, and he's using Float to keep himself in the air, which is funny. So, yeah, that's an interesting idea, Midoriya. All right. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, I didn't write down anything for it, but the fight between Shoto and Toya is great. I'm really loving the animation on that, and I like the whole thing of like, it's an interesting thing too. He's saying it's like, why are you doing this? Don't you feel the least bit bad for me, or something? And it's like, I feel like we're finally getting into, it's like, oh man, Toya had such this terrible, thing that happened to him, and it drove him crazy because of what Endeavor did. Okay, he still murdered 30 innocent people, so, even, despite the upbringing, yes, it's terrible, but you also chose to do that. So there's, it's do I feel bad that happened, that, his backstory is like that? Yes. But, that doesn't, redeem him or anything, I don't know, no, we're still going to kick your ass and put you in jail for what you've done, It's one thing does not negate another. Just because you have this sad backstory doesn't negate the things that you have done, Ugh. But again, it's nice to see, this is one of Todoroki's best fights. And finally he's flying, I feel like it's been forever and he just never has flown around, Because that's always been one thing, is with how specific Endeavor and Dabi now to an extent fight with their flames, but Shoto only has that on one side and the other side is ice. So it's well, he can't fight the same way as Endeavor, and that was the whole original plan, was that he would be the next Endeavor, but with a cooling system. But I don't know, I don't want to say oh, it's cumbersome how he uses, how his quirk is, split to his two sides, but I don't know, he just doesn't fight the same way as Endeavor, Endeavor, who freaking got up and knocked Makia the fuck down, which was great. And then finally, the sedative, because I was kind of thinking, it's well, what was the point of that? What was the point of that if he just has his extra garbage, and it's oh, it just took a while for him to digest it, for that to get to his systems, and it's well, that makes sense. Then yeah, so now Makia's down, Spinner is getting choked, Shigaraki got his ass kicked. Let's just face the facts there. Shigaraki got his ass kicked. So now it's up to Mr. Compressed to turn the tide, I guess. Or it's up to Mr. Compressed to get them the hell out of there, But yeah, man, that was hype. That was a really hype episode. I was not prepared for how hype that was going to be. We got the best of Genis, the golden boy who will save 1 million people, and one of the cutest anime daughters ever. Ugh. See, it's I'm torn between Eri and Anya. It's who's better? And it's well, Anya definitely gets, Anya gets more screen time than Eri, definitely, but I can't choose. I just want to raise them both, I want to be, well, I guess I shouldn't say I want to be Mr. Aizawa, because he also got blinded and got his leg cut off, so. But yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, that was fun. I'll see you guys next week for the next one. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of My Hero Academia reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.